I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, hey everybody. Welcome. Today we're going to try not something really original or different because I'm always answering questions about One Piece, but I decided to make a dedicated live stream to answering questions about One Piece, mostly because, and I mean, I'll take any questions from One Piece, any part of the story, but One Piece is a big story. You know, there's a lot in there. It spans over 27 years now. So, yeah, I think I encounter this every now and then, actually quite a bit in the comments. Chat's coming in here. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. And people have questions about the story, like how come the Straw Hats didn't do this when they were at Alabasta, or how come this wasn't acknowledged? And you know, I see that a lot, so I decided to do a dedicated stream to this. And of course, one of the first questions is where Boa or Robin, who's got the better melons, is one of the first questions we have there. Well, you know, Robin, I don't think knows a lot about botany. I mean, she probably knows an introductory level about, you know, growing melons and stuff like that, but we've never seen her. We have yet to see either Boa or Robin in a garden, so, you know, I gotta say that. I guess I'll go with Robin because she reads a little bit more, probably. Boa probably has other people growing her melons for her. So there's that question. There's that answer. But yeah, so I'll just take some questions about One Piece today. Any question that people have that's a little bit like maybe confused about the story or just needs a little bit more elaboration upon, I'm more than happy to help. Will the bounties of the Straw Hats increase now? If we follow the same... And I'll be answering these from the context of the story, also from like a meta perspective as well. And that question does have like standings in both. So the way this typically goes is after the Straw Hats have a big event in the Grand Line, fight a battle on an island and defeat a really strong opponent, they get a bounty increase, right? Even if they don't physically defeat the opponent, like in the case with Whole Cake Island, Luffy did not defeat Big Mom, but still had a bounty increase, a pretty sizable bounty increase, like a 1 billion bounty increase after the events of Whole Cake Island. So I would say... yes, that their bounties would go up. Many people are thinking that they're not going to go up because it's too soon after Wano, and maybe the events of Egghead might be covered up by the government a bit. But I'm also looking at this from the meta perspective of, like, you know, Oda's editors coming up to him and being like, hey, Oda-sensei, let's get those bounties up. Everybody loves it. The community loves it when the bounties go up, you know, and One Piece is ending soon. Go increase those bounties. People will go crazy over it. And maybe Oda might be like, well, I'm not really sure about that, but okay. I mean, yeah, it helps sell the magazine. All right, I'll do that. So it's from one perspective there. I would say they're probably going to go up. Let's see. Thanks to the super sticker or super chat from Trey. Didn't send any message, but thank you, Trey. Why did Blackbeard Pirates specifically target Ethan? I don't... Wait, what? They did not target Ethan. Why did Blackbeard Pirates specifically target Ethan? They targeted Jay Garcia's Saturn. I don't think they target any specific Gorosei, like they had it, you know, in their heads that they were going to copy any specific Gorosei. They were basically just like, hey, we found out that a Gorosei is going to Egghead, and because Katarina Devon has the ability to copy anybody's appearance, might be able to copy their memories as well. We don't know the full extent of the Nine-Tailed Fox zone, the Kitsune zone, but it was the idea that, like, hey, let's go to Egghead and let's, you know, copy a Gorosei, because the number of shit that we could accomplish if we were one of the 5 elders of the entire world, like, that would be immense. So it could have been anybody. It could have been Top Man. It could have been Ethan that sent there first. It just turned out that it was Saturn that went there first because he is the head of scientific development and defense. So they were just like, hey, send Van Auger and Devon over to Egghead, copy Saturn, and then we could use that form to really influence the world in a big way. And that was the idea. see. Do you think we will ever find out whose Nami's parents are? I don't. I really don't. I don't want to see every single Straw Hat's parents. I don't want to see, like, every Straw Hat has, like, you know, people have saying, like, Nami was from the Oikot Kingdom, which was mentioned in the Vivre cards. And I think it was Vivre cards. I don't know if it was ever mentioned in SBS, but she is from the Oikot Kingdom. That's where Belmir found Nojiko and Nami. Nojiko was, like, 3 years old. Nami was a baby. They're not blood related. But Nami and Nojiko were in this war-torn country. Belmir found them, brought them back to Kokoyashi. People have said, like, oh, what if Nami was, like, the princess of Oikot? And it's like, I don't want all the Straw Hats to be, like, royalty. We already did that plot line with Sanji. We don't need to do that plot line with, like, everybody else. You know, I think we're fine. I think we're okay with that. Is it a coincidence that two Devil Fruit users... Hold up. Where was that one I just started reading? Is it a coincidence that two Devil Fruit users, Toki and Buggy, fell sick on the last voyage to Laugh-Tale? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with, like, you approach Laugh-Tale, you get sick. Roger was already sick beforehand. That wasn't something that happened, like, when he got to Laugh-Tale, he contracted some disease. He was sick before then. I think that one, honestly, is... Oda was like, okay, I gotta be really careful about who I put on Laugh-Tale, right? Like, Oda's sitting there like, I gotta be really careful. Like, if Shanks and Buggy were on Laugh-Tale at Roger's time, then that might create some issues in, like, the way the story is structured. So I'm just gonna, like, nah, Shanks and Buggy, they were on Roger's crew, but something came up, Buggy got sick, that's the reason they didn't go to Laugh-Tale, right? You know, so it's like, it's kind of like that. Yeah, I think that's more for, like, storyline convenience than actually, like, some plot line that Oda's following up with in the story. Like, oh, if sometimes when you go to Elbaf, you get sick and you can't go. I don't think it's anything to do with that. When will Brook be relevant? Hey, Brook is always relevant. Yoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! It's almost Halloween. Brook is extremely relevant right now. Do you think there will be 2 more arcs in this saga? Or 3, and do you think we will go to space after Elbaf? Well, we have Elbaf, we have Lodestar. I feel like those are going to be dedicated story arcs. Then we have Laugh-Tale, so that's 3. It's hinted at that there's going to be a big war. Now, whether or not you want to say that war is part of not part of Elbaf, part of Laugh-Tale. Like, the Straw Hats get to Laugh-Tale, find the One Piece, and then, like, a war happens. You know, like, that's all part of the same arc, or that's, like, a different arc in and of itself. I'm not really sure. I don't know how, like, when we're in the final saga, but if you ask me to break down the exact number of arcs we're going to have left, I'd say... I'm not going to be able to give it... I'm not going to say, like, 2 or 3. I'll say 3 to 5 or 6. 3 to 6. Let's go 3 to 6. Some of those arcs might be very short, though. Like, they're post-arcs. Or, like, Zoe is only, like, 20-something chapters. Or, like, 30 chapters, something like that. So some of those arcs might be very short. But I'll say 3 to 6. What if there is a devil fruit that can change someone like good to evil and to good and would call karma fruit? There actually is already a devil fruit that does that. It's actually Osuru's wash fruit. It's mentioned that it cleans out the evil of pirates, and it makes their hearts a little bit nicer. So yeah, let's pull up the wash fruit. Yeah. So she literally has the power of laundry, and she can wash off the evil hearts. Now, might there also be a devil fruit that's like the dirty fruit that, like, stains people's hearts, that turns good people to evil? That could happen too. I don't know if there's going to be a direct devil fruit that, like, flips it immediately, that just, like, good to evil, evil to good. I don't know. That seems like a pretty powerful ability. But in the case with Osuru's power, very similar, yeah. Why was Doflamingo afraid of Suru? Yeah, so Doflamingo and Suru have, like, a history together. Hold on a minute. We have Suru here in her younger years. She is, like, in her 50s, or maybe early 60s in this image here. This is when she was primarily chasing around Doflamingo. She's basically, like, just like how Garp and Roger had a thing, Suru and Doflamingo, that was, like, their arch rival. It seems like everybody in the Marines has, like, an arch pirate nemesis And in the case with Suru, it happens to be Doflamingo. But Doflamingo is a very smart, tactical kind of dude that loves to play like 4D chess with people. And I think Suru is the one that was really able to match him in a lot of regards in that way. Because she is the great staff officer. She is the greatest tactician in the Marines. She's extremely intelligent. And she was probably the only one that could like rival, at least in Doflamingo's mind, could rival him in terms of like, how could I best you, Osuru? I'll never, like, because even we see that scene, and it's one of my favorite scenes. I'm going to time out Kavya here because you keep spamming. I'm just going to time you out. If you have a question, that's great. I'll answer. I'm not going to get all your questions answered. I apologize, but do not spam them because I'm just going to time you out if you do that. But anyway, yeah. So in that scene when they're in, when Doflamingo's being taken on the prison ship after Dressrosa, and Suru's the one watching him, Doflamingo's trying to do his like sophistry bullshit. Like he's trying to like spin the narrative and get him like lead Suru down this path of words and stuff like that. Because he can't move, he's chained up, and he's trying to do this whole thing. And then Suru's just like, oh, shut up! I'm not listening to your bullshit today. And Doflamingo's like, ha ha ha! Oh, how can I best you, Suru-san? I can never get the best of you. You always know exactly my number. I think Doflamingo wanted to... I think I think there was a little bit of that there with Suru. I don't know. You know, like, yeah. Heard the spoilers for Chapter 1125. Yes, I've heard the spoilers. We're not discussing spoilers here, though. No spoilers to talk about what's happening next. That'll be in the review. That'll be out later this week. Thursday or Friday, depending when it comes out. But yeah. What do you think Eam's power will be? I'm going with the idea that Eam is Mother Ocean. I'm going with that idea because it seems like it makes a lot of sense. Eam doesn't seem to care about devil fruits. I mean, care about devil fruits, but like not use devil fruit abilities. I still think the Gorosei are not devil fruit power users. I think it's something else. I don't think it's devil fruit abilities. When Eam attacked Sabo, there was a shot of Eam's tail, and the tail seemed to be dripping some kind of liquid. And when the tail seemed to just scratch the back of Sabo, like it sliced him pretty good. But number one, you know, Sabo's made of fire, so you could just say, oh, well, Eam used armament Haki, sure. But the amount of pain that Sabo felt from that one attack was... like his eyes got whited out. Like it was the same as like when Luffy got, like when he saw Ace dead. Like, you know, like, so I'm thinking like Eam's ability is like the raw power of the ocean and sliced Sabo up really bad. And Sabo, like, that wasn't just Haki. That wasn't just like Sea Prism. That was the raw avatar of the ocean slashing you across the back. And that felt, that hurt. That hurt bad, all right? Can the Seraphim eat devil fruits? Probably not. I don't think the green blood would allow that, no. Because they're still weak to sea. They still have the same weaknesses. They're still weak to water and sea prisms, so they would also probably exhibit a lot of the same, weaknesses as like you can only have one devil fruit unless you're Blackbeard. Also, like maybe Vegapunk or Lilith could like develop maybe like hybrid green blood. You know, like combine two different devil fruit abilities and synthesize it into green blood and then inject that into a Seraphim. Maybe that would work. But yeah. Do you think GARP is dead? I don't think GARP is dead, you know, and a lot of people are like, GARP is totally dead. They're not going to keep him alive. Oh no, GARP's not dead. Once again, looking at it from a storytelling perspective, it would be so weird if that's how GARP died. You know, we didn't see him die. He just gets covered in ice laughing, and that's the last time we ever see of him. I think it's because of that people think he's dead, because people that have the Will of D tend to die with a smile on their face. So he's like, oh, he's smiled. But GARP, Oda's not just going to, end GARP out like that, I'm not even against GARP dying in the future of the story, but there's no way he's going out like that quickly, What are the chances Oda makes 4 giants named Fee, Fi, Fo, and Fum next arc? Yes! Never considered that before, but yes! Are Lilith and York able to read the Poneglyphs? Yeah, that's a little bit debatable, right? Because the idea is that they got all of the collective knowledge from Ohara, and the Oharans were able to read Poneglyphs. At least Clover was. But then again, maybe Clover didn't write down. Because that's the thing, like, it's a script. It's an alphabet, or, like, maybe they use, like, I don't exactly know if it's an abjad or an alphabet or, like, other types of, like, syllabaries or whatever the fuck they're called. I don't really actually know what is written on the Poneglyph. But you think at one point they would write down, like, what these characters mean and how you can decipher them, like ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics are not a alphabet. It's a different system. system because it's more of like a phonetic thing. I'm assuming poneglyphs are similar in that regard. It's not just like this symbol means the letter A, this symbol means the letter B. It's a little bit more complicated than that. But you'd think that they would write that down somewhere, but then again, maybe they didn't because they were like, we don't want the government to find this, because if we write down how to read poneglyphs, then that increases the chances the government could find it. Like, here's the handy-dandy dummies guide for reading poneglyphs. So maybe they didn't write it down, and if they didn't write it down, then Vegapunk would not know how to. Yeah, but then again, he's a brilliant scientist, so you think he'd be able to, like, decipher it. But then again, like, look at how we deciphered hieroglyphics in our world. Hieroglyphics were lost to history until the Rosetta Stone was found on Napoleon's expedition, and even then, it took another 20 years. It wasn't just like, we found the Rosetta Stone, now we can decipher poneglyphs. You know, it took another 20 years to really decipher exactly how to read these damn things, right? So if you don't have a key, then Vegapunk is just like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to read them. When Law fights Blackbeard, he says that Haki can be used to overcome devil fruits, but he never specifies the color of Haki, you know, the observation or the armament. Characters also speak of sensing Haki in a general sense. Does that mean there exists general Haki energy? Yeah, Haki is just your ambition. So I imagine when you're outputting Haki, whether it be observation, armament, or conquerors, it kind of gives off like your will. Like, it's like an aura kind of thing. You know, like, oh, that person's exerting Haki over there, right? I don't think it has to necessarily do like, you have to exert armament Haki to override devil fruit abilities. It's probably like whatever Haki you're really good at. I think there is just like a general Haki energy. I would assume so. Let's see. The question is more about Oda, I guess, but I feel some are afraid to criticize Oda more than they would other authors. I love him too, but I have my gripes. Do you agree, or am I reaching? No, I mean, Oda is not a perfect human being. Like, that's the thing. And also another reason why I wanted to make this video, like, there are stuff in the story that you could say, oh, that was planned years in advance. And then there's other stuff that's clearly a retcon. There's other stuff that's clearly like, Oda's like, ooh, I messed up there. Okay. And a lot of times Oda doesn't like take it too seriously. He plays it like tongue-in-cheek. Like, there was a scene where in the manga, infamously, Mr. 3 is shown floating on the water. And people are like, well, wait, hold on a minute. He's a devil fruit user. He shouldn't be able to do that. And Oda was like, oh, yeah, he was actually on top of a super floaty piece of wood, like, as a joke. Like, oops, I fucked up, guys. And in the anime, they actually included it, you know? And actually, later on, he makes the floaty pieces of wood canon when they're ascending from Fishman Island back up to the surface. So even when Oda messes up, he's just like, I messed up, guys. Sorry. All right, I'll incorporate that into the story somehow, you know? How would Blackbeard raiding Fishman Island go, since it's under Luffy's protection as well as world government protected island? If Blackbeard attempted to, you know, raid Fishman Island, I mean, they have a lot of protection already. Blackbeard himself would be pretty powerful, and the 10 Titanic captains would be the main issue. So, you know, it would be one of those things where Luffy would find out about it, and he probably immediately would want to go to help them. I don't know how they would get halfway across the world that quickly. Blackbeard might just win. He might just kill Fukaboshi and Ryoboshi and Manboshi and kill Neptune or enslave Neptune. Like, that could actually happen if he decided to attack. Because I think his power is definitely good enough. Then again, you know, well, GARP was, like, helping them out, but GARP is now at Hachinosu, so really there might not be a lot to help them there. Big Mom's crew is decimated, so she wouldn't be able to help. So, yeah, if Blackbeard attacked Fishman Island right now, I think they would be, I think there'd be some problems there. Question, do you think what Shanks did to Aramaki, change him from tree back to human form, is same as Joy Boy Haki to 5 Elders? See, I think in that regard, you know, Aramaki felt Shanks' Conqueror's Haki, and that alone was enough to, like, it scared the piss out of him, and he literally went back to his human form. I don't know if it was a forcible, like, knock you back into human form. I think it was just he was scared, and as, like, a reflex, he went back into human form. Yeah. If you saw the recent Kishimoto interview, he said that it's sad that the editors don't get much say because of this. I actually have not seen the Kishimoto interview. I remember hearing about that. I should probably check that out. But no, I have not read it, so I actually don't know. But yeah, I do know, I'm not really sure where editor influence is right now in the manga industry. I know for a while there, like back in the 90s, it was a big deal because that's like Dragon Ball, right? Like, you know, Toriyama does the Android saga, and it's like Jiro and Android 19, and the editors were like, yeah, so it's a mime and an old man. That's kind of dumb, you know, make some other androids. And then he made 17 and 18. And it's like, so now they're just a couple of brat kids, you know, get to sell already. And then he gets to sell, and he's like, this weird guy his first form is weird. Make second form's even worse. Just get to his third form already, you know? It's kind of like that. Now, that was back in the 90s, though. That was like 30 years ago at this point, so I'm not really sure what editor influence is like now. I will check out that Kishimoto interview, though. Hi, Teching. I'd like you to discuss how the average citizen on a random island would perceive each of the Straw Hats bounty increases in the news. I imagine at a certain point, regular citizens would look at the bounty increases of like the Yonko and just be like, this is so much money and they're so dangerous and they have crazy abilities that I could never hope to comprehend. That at a certain point, a lot of the citizens of the One Piece world would just be like, this is irrelevant. This is irrelevant to me. You know, unless you're living on the Grand Line, unless you're directly under the thumb of Kaido or Big Mom or whoever, it's not relevant that Kaido, like, you're a random radish farmer in the South Blue and you get the news coup in the morning. It's like, Kaido's bounty is now 4,600,000,000. Well, that has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to fucking fight him, you know? So that's how it goes there, right? It's a QR code. Yeah. Will we get more information on Blackbeard's bloodline? Absolutely. So he has a ship called Saber of Xebec, obviously Rocksteady Xebec, and it seems like the age seems to line up that Blackbeard could be Xebec's son. Even if he isn't his like actual son, he's definitely carrying on the legacy of Xebec. I can see Blackbeard looking up to Xebec as like a role model, just like how Luffy looked up to Shanks, or like Shanks looked up to Roger. And maybe Blackbeard found Xebec's logbook or found something he left behind, and he's following, like, just how like the Straw Hats are following on the will of Joy Boy, Blackbeard's following in the will of Xebec, and Xebec might be following in the will of like there could be an ancestor that was like a betrayer of Joy Boy, kind of like a Judas kind of figure from back during the Void Century days, and betrayed Joy Boy, and they were both members of the Will of D. Maybe it was Joy Boy's brother or something like that. And then later on, that line of Will of D culminates in Xebec, and then eventually Marshall D. Teach, and then this other line of the D, which is Joy Boy's like inherited will, inherited by Roger and Shanks and Luffy. What do you think happened to Banshee? Isn't that the bug from the Baratier? I'm sure the bug survived, laid some eggs, and the bug's line continues on. Yeah. Did you watch Murphy's Vegapunk analysis? I have not, unfortunately. That's another one I have to check out. Yes, but I did see that in my feed. If Sugar wasn't loyal to Doffy, how terrifying would she be? I mean, if she just, like, was a pirate and going around and using her abilities to turn a bunch of people into toys and make her army, I'd see that would be pretty impressive. I don't think she would get to the level of Big Mom, where you have an entire island of, like, the homies, or an entire country of multiple islands with the homies. I don't know if she would get to that level. She would probably become a pretty prominent pirate on her own, but keep in mind, just knocking her out, unlike Big Mom, if you knock out Big Mom, not every homie in Totland turns back, and like, not the souls go back to their original users. If you knock out Sugar, all of the toys go back to normal. So, you know, that's one of those things. It's kind of like a situation in Game of Thrones, like kill the Night King and then all the White Walkers die. It doesn't matter how many there are. So just have to knock out Sugar or kill her, and then you're fine. All the toys will turn back to normal. So I think she would do fine, but she wouldn't like conquer the Grand Line or anything like that. Do you think Kid is the 7th Vegapunk? I do not. I like that theory, but no. Kid has a pretty well-established backstory in the South Blue, and Vegapunk was born in the Grand Line, and yeah, I don't think he's like secretly a cyborg or an android or something like that. Let's see here. Do you think Oda will give the mini fruit from the Film Z giant to this arc? Funny enough, that fruit, Lily and Stomach, was the one that used that fruit in the filler. It was actually used by a video game character first named Bruce, who was a giant that did the exact same thing. He was a giant that ate a mini fruit so he can make himself tiny and he could talk to a human, right? So that fruit's actually existed in a video game and in a filler arc. I think Oda could incorporate that ability fairly easily in the One Piece story. There might even be a giant. We're going to Elbaf right now. It'd be actually really easy to see, you know, a giant that has that ability that allows them to shrink down, and like the opposite of San Juan Wolf's big fruit, there's a small fruit. I think that's perfectly fine, and it's such a generic ability that I don't think it's a thing like, well, we already did this in this arc. Or you could just make Lily canon. I'd be all right with that. Make Lily and Stomach canon. How old is Sugar? She's 22 chronologically, but because she ate the Hobby no Mi, it froze her, I think, at age 10. I think that's how it works. I think Monet was still the elder sister. I think Monet was still like 25 or something like that. But yeah. Do you think Blackbeard collected Whitebeard's bounty? No, it's actually been stated that pirates cannot collect other pirates' bounties. A lot of pirates actually do fall for this, though, where they will take out another pirate like their rival and just like, oh, old Bluebeard took out old Greenbeard. And then he takes he's like, hey, I got Greenbeard's corpse. Give me the money. And the Marines are like, oh, yes, sure, Pirate Bluebeard. Your money is right behind this door. And he's like, it's about time. Oh, shit. And then they throw him in and impale down. A lot of pirates fall for that. I don't think Blackbeard would fall for that, though. Will we see who moved Luffy to the food machine? I think this is so obviously Van Augur, and a lot of people are still asking this question. Who moved Luffy to the vending machine? We need the answer. Van Augur was there. He has the ability to fucking teleport people. Like, bloop, bloop, just done. And he was like, hey, I'm gonna get Luffy over there to eat food so he can go back into that Gear 5th form and he can distract everybody long enough so that I could go do my mission, right? Like, that was the idea. Why would Van Augur do that? To fucking distract everybody. They're not gonna fight all of the people on the island. Van Augur and Devon are there. There are only 2 people. They're like, hey, let's distract everybody. Let's have Luffy eat some food, get him back in power so he could be jumping around and fighting everybody. Everybody focuses on him. Then we could do all the shit we came here to do and get out of here. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, maybe I could be wrong on that, but to me it's very obviously Van Augur because he was the guy that could teleport and he was right there. Let's see, Van Augur would teleport Luffy to Hachinosu. He does not have the range to do that. He even mentioned specifically he can't send people that far. Dude, they were trying to leave the island and Van Augur was like, yeah, let's walk. And then Devon is like, why couldn't you just teleport us to the ship? And Van Augur's like, I can't do that. I'm not trained enough yet. So he couldn't even teleport them like a mile to the ship. He can only teleport them like a brief distance, like maybe less than a kilometer or something. And that was all he could do. Yeah. Maybe if he trains it and awakens the power, he can warp people to like further distances. But yeah, not crazy far distances. Yeah. How would Augur know food would revive Luffy like that? Because you have to understand that Blackbeard's crew is really good at gathering information, but also the fact that just, like, Luffy is like, oh, hey, it's like, wait a minute, maybe Luffy eating food will revive him. I don't think that's something that's really that ridiculous to conclude to. You know what I mean? He's Luffy. He shovels food in his mouth all the damn time. I think it's pretty well established. Yeah. Let's see here. Blackbeard has a lock on Luffy, I think. I think Blackbeard understands Luffy fairly well. All right? I think they do. There was even a moment when they were in the bar at Jaya, and they were Oda made a point to show that they're very similar in a lot of ways. They are different in a few ways, but they are similar in a lot of ways. Do you think G5 is complete? There is not a lot of sun-based abilities for the Sun God fruit. Been watching since 2014. It's funny. Luffy doesn't even really understand fully that he's the Sun God. Like, people have called him the Sun God, but he's always, like, confused when people do that. Like, yeah, hi, what are you? Hold on a minute. I'm gonna... there's a lot of spam here. Yeah, don't spam in the chat. I'm just gonna time you out here. Okay. But, yeah, Luffy doesn't really understand the full ramifications of what his ability really is. So I'm thinking, like, once he understands this, and this will probably happen when he goes to Elbaf, like, he'll go to Elbaf and the Giants will actually explain to him, like, Luffy, your power is this. You don't have the power of the Gumu Gumu no Mi. You have the power of the Sun God fruit. You're the Sun God Nika, right? And Luffy's just like, okay, cool. Maybe I can use fire powers then. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not, right? And I think Luffy could. I don't think, like, Gear 5th is incomplete in the sense that Luffy could not use those abilities right now. I just think that Luffy hasn't ever really tried to use that power. But he's like, oh, I'm the Sun God? Does that mean I could make bright light? Maybe he can. I think he probably could. Yeah. Also, though, he does have the Red Hawk and the Hawk Gatling and all those abilities that he used that are like, he can light his fist on fire and stuff like that. So, I think there's something there for sure. Do you think Frankie will become the counter to Pluton? I've seen this theory around that Frankie's going to, like, build Pluton or become Pluton. Or the Sunny will become Pluton or, like, the anti-Pluton. While that does sound damn cool, I think they're just going to keep the ancient weapons as the ancient weapons, right? And it was even kind of established that the weapon they used against Leloucia wasn't just a fake ancient weapon. It wasn't like a pseudo ancient weapon that was recreated or something. It is the ancient weapon that was used during the Void Century. They just needed the Mother Flame to power it up, which might imply that like Pluton might also need an equally powerful source to power it up as well. And then Poseidon is just, the mermaid princess is Shirahoshi. So, I think they're just going to have the 3 ancient weapons from the past. I don't think Franky's going to, like, develop a new one. Although, people have brought up, well, he has the blueprints, and he read the blueprints. He has to have them memorized. I'm like, I'm sure he definitely does, but I just don't know. Once again, that's something curious that I don't know if Oda's going to, like, lead to. Like, Franky's like, I remember the blueprints design. I can make the sunny Pluton. Like, maybe? Franky unconsciously built Pluton Incorporated. Yeah, I've heard that theory too. I don't like that idea just because it feels like, this is like the blueprint that Tom gave his life to protect, that no one should have this ability, no one should have this power. I don't buy the Franky unconsciously like built it. Like, you either like, this is something really fucking important that Franky had in his possession for years, the blueprints, right? I don't think Franky is gonna just like unconsciously like, I read the blueprints and I'm building the Sunny. I unconsciously incorporated that into it. I don't think he would, because that's maybe against Tom's wishes and stuff like that. We don't want to make one of the ancient weapons here. It might not also even be feasible for Franky to build Pluton with the materials that he had. Like, he had the atom wood, he had all the materials on Water 7, but they might require it's an ancient weapon. It might require very, very specific materials that you might not be able to get on Water 7, right? It was built in the Ancient Kingdom, after all, right? Isn't the thing that Franky trusts the Straw, it's the power of Pluton, and like how he trusts himself with the power of the battle Frankies? I still feel like he wouldn't do that, because this is something that's ancient that should stay locked away and should never be like built again. Like, that was the whole point. He didn't want the Cypher Pool to get their hands on the blueprints, so he burned them, and he's just like, I'm placing a bet on the Straw Hats here. Then I'm just hoping that weapon will never be awakened again, and I'm hoping that that this weapon will never have to be built, right? And I just don't think he would go around right after that and build Pluton in the way of the Sunny. Will there be Yu-Gi-Oh! Later? Yes, there's going to be a Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream today. We're actually moving it back an hour, so it's going to be 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's why I'm doing this now, so I can get this little stream out, and I'll do this for about another hour or so. And then we're today on Twitch, and Briggs' Twitch, we're going to be doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah. Why is Momo's fruit considered a failure? Vegapunk considered it a failure because it was pink. Vegapunk made the artificial zone based off of Kaido's Ua Uenomi. Kaido's dragon is blue. He's the Azure Dragon. Momo's is pink. So that's why it was a failure. So, which is to say it isn't a failure. It's a perfect recreation, other than the fact that the dragon is pink. We've found that Vegapunk is very particular with his inventions. Do you think Mihawk is Rayleigh's son? I don't think he's Rayleigh's son, but I think Rayleigh might have helped train Mihawk at some point. I made a video about that a few years ago. Do you think Laugh Tale is not the final place we visit in the story? Well, it's definitely not the final place, because after Laugh Tale, the Strats are all going to go back to their original homes. Like Usopp's going to see Kaya again, Brook's going to see Laboon again, Nami's going to see Nojiko and Genzo again. Like, that's going to happen. But in terms of the last island that's in the Grand Line that's brand new, that's like we've never heard of before, maybe the Straw Hats, like, at the end of the story, they're like, let's go on another adventure into space or something. Like, that could happen. Yeah. Do you think the whole planet can be the all blue, and that Luffy would let the planet flood so Sanji can achieve his dream? I don't think the whole planet is the all blue. In fact, I think that's the exact... I think they're somehow going to stop the flood. I think they're going to stop the flood. I don't think the whole world is going to flood even more than it is, because it's already pretty flooded. If anything, the world might, like they remove the water, like they pull the drain plug and it goes down, and then there's more land on the world, so they reclaim the land that was lost in the last 800 years. I think that would be a better message. And as part of that, like, as you restructure the entire world's like oceanography and everything like that, which is similar to geography, but it's oceanography, the all blue will be coalesced. Like the fish will have to coalesce in a smaller ocean, and then the all blue will be created that way, because there won't be as much ocean in the world. Then again, the ocean sinking dramatically would also probably kill off a bunch of animals, but hey, it's One Piece. You could just, yeah. Let's see. Is Stussy the first ever Vegapunk satellite? No, Stussy is a clone of Buckingham Stussy, who was a former member of MADS about 38 years ago. Probably around that time is when Stussy was created. It was long before Vegapunk was doing the satellite technology and all that kind of stuff. Stussy, and also Vegapunk specifically calls Stussy her own person. She's her own thinking person. She's not just a fragment of like Vegapunk's personality made manifest. So yeah, Stussy's not a satellite, no. Do you think there is something special behind Zoro's eye? At this point, I'm really not thinking it. I really don't. I think he's just going to keep it shut the entire time. If he ever does open it, don't expect something crazy. Don't expect, like, it's the Rinnegan or it's some demon eye or something like that. If he does open it, just expect it maybe to be kind of a thing where it's like, opening both eyes is like not Vegapunk, like Mihawk told him, like, keep your eyes shut and only fight with one eye open from now on as a handicap, right? And then only when you're about to die, open both. But he was definitely about to die when he fought King, so I don't even really like that. Like, he literally saw the fucking Grim Reaper, so I'm not even gonna say that, like, that's a thing. I think he's just gonna keep it shut. Yeah. Thoughts on Eam being Joy Boy? I don't want Eam to be Joy Boy. I don't want that to be the twist. The twist was the guy at that. Now, Joy Boy might turn out to not be super good. In fact, he was the first pirate, so don't expect Joy Boy to be like the paragon of goodness and happiness and all that kind of jazz, right? Expect Joy Boy to have some blood on his hands here, right? But I don't want Joy Boy to be Eam, no. I want Eam to be like their own separate character. Will we actually see Eneru again? Yes. I think we're going to see Eneru again. I don't think Oda would set up all the stuff. I don't think Eneru would have his great space operation like Oda would go through the trouble of depicting all that for him to never show up in the story again. You know, if Eneru just got on his arc and then flew to the moon and that was the last time we ever saw of him, we never saw the cover series or anything, maybe I would say that, like, oh yeah, Eneru's just, he went into space, he's on the moon, we don't see him anymore. But we saw all the stuff that happened in the cover story, he has to show up again. Zoro made a Nen contract where his eyes have to remain closed. Yep. Do you think we'll get another training arc on Elbaf? If we ever get another training arc in the story, it's not going to be something like 3D2Y. It's not going to be like, you know, we spend 6 months training here or 1 year training here. Because I don't think we have the time for that, honestly. If you want to say they train for a week or two and we kind of, you know, a few chapters focusing on that and we cut to the end of that, sure. Maybe a month, but I don't see them spending like a year on Elbaf training, no. Do you think that Blackbeard will be the one to kill Eam, take over the Holy Land, and Luffy needs to go to the Marijois, making the Straw Hats visit all the islands? Well, I mean, they're not going to visit every island in the Grand Line, but like at least go back to Marijois. I would like to see the Straw Hats at Marijois. I made like a 3-part series on that last year. It would be really cool. I could see Blackbeard, yeah, because Blackbeard definitely wants to kill, like, I was imagining killing Eam. I think Blackbeard knows about Eam. Kills Eam, and then takes over the entire, like, world. You know, because, you know, Blackbeard's plan was, as he said to Kobe, like, I'm going to try to get Hachinosu a government-recognized island, and I can get invited to Reverie. Well, if we know anything about Blackbeard's plans, he doesn't just stop there. You know, he's not just like, my plan is to make myself a king and then go to Reverie. And then that's the plan. It's like, no, there's something else there. You want to get into Marijois somehow. He's looking for a way to get into Marijois. He wants to get into Castle Pangea. Why does he want to do that? Probably because he knows about Eam. Probably because Rox knew about Eam. Because Rox wanted to be the king of the world, keep in mind. Eam is the king of the world. So maybe Rox knew about the empty throne, knew about Eam, and then so he passed that on to Blackbeard somehow. And then so Blackbeard wants to be king of the world as well. So I could definitely see Blackbeard killing Eam, taking the throne, and it's like, oh shit, now things really are live. Yeah, Shirahoshi was not born yet at the time of Roger being at Laugh-Tale, and I think it's, you have to have the reincarnate of Joy Boy and you have to have the reincarnate of Poseidon like there at the same time in order for shit to happen. What would you think if Moria zombified Ace and Whitebeard? I made a video about this too. It would just be their bodies, and it would be animated with other shadows, but it would be cool to see. It wouldn't be the same thing as like Ace's ghost showing up and guiding Luffy. It'd be like, Luffy, I'm a ghost. Ooh. No, it would be Ace's body with an animated shadow. Who would be the worst shadows to put in Whitebeard and Ace? Not worst, like not compatible, but like worst in like, imagine like somebody else's personality in Ace's body talking to Luffy. Like that would be really jacked up. You know what I mean? Buggy can create nukes, chop atoms. He's a bomb expert. That would be cool. Yeah, I've seen that theory. Like, that's his ultimate technique. Like, he shoots off, splits an atom, and sets off a miniature nuke. Like, destroys part of his body in the process, but that would be so cool. Because if you just split one atom, it's just one atom. It's just an atom, guys. Wapple. Yeah, Wapple dies and his shadow gets... No, it doesn't. Wapple doesn't... That's the thing. You don't even have to die to get your shadow stolen. Wapple... Shadow gets stolen, gets put in Ace. Hey, Luffy, how you doing? I'm your brother. Does Usopp create the crazy Frankie hairstyles? No, I think Frankie has, it's actually shown, he has a button. He holds his hair, and then it pops out. He can create it in any way that he wants, and he styles it. I think it can pop out anyway. It's like that toy. There was a toy that existed when I was a kid that's like, you could like control the hair of this like guy's like scalp or something. It was really fun. Eam gender. We do not know what Eam identifies as. We don't know if gender or sex even apply to Eam, to be honest with you. The way Eam speaks is very strangely like, it's a Japanese version of like the second person. It's like Eam talks like, this one will listen to your questions, Cobra, and then this one will command you answer. You know, like it's a very weird way to speak. Why important celestial dragons don't wear the suit? Probably because they have their own different style of dress. Like the reason Garling doesn't wear the dome is probably because he doesn't want to wear the dome. Garling seems to be a different kind of like, you know, he's a lot more reasonable than the other celestial dragons. You know, a lot of celestial dragons are just like awful, like just hedonists. Garling is awful, but he doesn't seem to be a hedonist to me. He doesn't seem to be like, he's like, I'm not wearing that stupid outfit. I'll just dress however I feel. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Do you think Kid is capable of big change if his crew died? Yeah, I mean, if Kid is still alive, if Kid is still alive, I like to see Killer still alive. Maybe they're mangled pretty bad, but if they're still alive, maybe they can have like a little development moment where they realize like, this is why we need to get stronger. I think we need to change our outlook on these things, right? Because it is 100% Kid's fault that happened. He could have just not went to fucking Elbaf. Even Killer, his first mate, was like, hey, dude, are you sure you want to do this? Because it's Elbaf, land of giants, covered with giants, our army of giants, and also Shanks is there. Do you want to fuck with this? And Kid's like, yeah! And like, okay. And then look what the fuck happened. He fucked around and he found out. Do you think there'll be another Impel Down prison break? Yes, but I don't think it's going to be that, like, we very well might just cut back to Impel Down and, like, see Doflamingo and Pika, Treble, and I hope Diamante's dead, but he's probably not. Breaking, like, Senor Pink, like, breaking out of Impel Down. Mr. 2 will probably be there, too. You know, in fact, they might need to work together, like Doflamingo working together with all of the people at New Kama Land and Mr. 2. Because Mr. 2 doesn't really have any connections with Doflamingo, honestly, and Mr. 2 wouldn't know that Doflamingo like fought Luffy at Dressrosa or anything like that, or what happened at Marineford. Mr. 2 wouldn't know any of that shit. So, I mean, unless it was mentioned that the New Kama do get news from the outside world from the newspapers in the trash, so maybe they might. But I think they might need to help each other in order to break out of the prison. Do you think Arouge will do anything ever? Yes, I think Arouge. I don't think Oda forgot about Arouge. I think Arouge is coming up next. Probably in Elbaf. We'll see Arouge. Laugh-Tale might not be the final arc major place we visit since the world will flood and the whole war at Marijois things. Yeah, see, there's a lot of locations, actually. A few locations, the Straw Hats. I would like to see them visit by the end of the story. That's not just like Elbaf, Lodestar, Laugh-Tale. I want to see them go to Marijois. I definitely want to see them there, but I think that might just be more of the stage for Dragon and Sabo's arcs rather than the Straw Hats going there. It seems to me like the Straw Hats aren't going to be at Marijois. If they are, there's going to have to be some kind of summoning bullshit, which does exist now. We know that exists. There's a mechanism for that. There might be some weird way to be like, we've channeled the power of Eam. We could summon the Straw Hats to Marijois. Like, maybe. Not a One Piece question, but how often were you noticed when you was in London? When I was at the convention, I got recognized a lot when I was at MCM, not when I was just walking around the city, no. Are you going to go back and read old Super Chats? Yes, I am, right now. Aha. Got a lot of them. Because it was this question and answer stream has a lot of questions. Time for me to bust out the answers. Okay, so yeah, I'll be doing super chats for a little bit here. So regular chat, maybe, you know, if you're posting questions in like the regular chat, maybe slow up for a bit because I do want to cover the super chats, and then we'll bounce back and forth. When a collab with I Show Speed. I do not know who that is. J.R. Mason, thank you. Seraphim cannot eat devil fruits unless the green blood is modified. In your opinion, who should get the One Piece? I think out of the contenders, Kobe is the most suitable. I think the most suitable to get the One Piece is Dragon. I think he's the most level-headed and like the smartest individual to use it. I would say. Vin Diesel is now MC of OP. How fast does he find it? Oh, Vin Diesel. Oh yeah, probably like at least in 6 Fast movies. I think he could do it. Do you think there will be 2 more arcs in this saga or 3? I think 3 to 6 is what I said. Who is the silhouette at the end of the recent chapter? Probably Scooper Gaboon or maybe Shiki. A lot of people have been saying, or maybe Loki. What if there's a devil fruit that can change someone like good to evil? I answered that one already. I don't think that a fruit like that exists. Suru's kind of exists like that. I have a theory. I think that Usopp will get future side observation Haki, but when he does, he will look into the future himself, see himself getting hurt, panic, and then get hurt, run away. That would be a fun gag. That'd be a fun gag. I could see that. I could get behind that. Let's see. Do you agree with Zoro about Vegapunk? Because I do, LOL. Also, what do you think will happen with Bonnie and Kuma? I think Bonnie and Kuma are going to stay on Elbaf for the foreseeable future. I don't think they're going to travel to Laugh Tale with the Straw Hats or anything. I talked about this in the discussion stream last week about Zoro and Vegapunk. You know, like I could see Zoro's perspective, but Zoro also got upset when Yasue died. So there's a little bit of hypocrisy there. Zoro's trying to be the tough guy. It'd be like, we're Yonko crew now. We can't be acting like this shit. You know, but in reality, it's like, dude, we're still human beings. We're still people. You know, you're going to be upset when people die, you know. The fact that Usopp take notes about the Atom Tree, who he was trained by a famous botanist, could be a foreshadowing about the role of Usopp in this arc. That is something to consider. Could be, because we're going to a world tree, and the Atom Wood. People are saying the world tree is the Atom Tree. It could be very well. And Usopp is a type of botanist. That is also true. Has Barry bitten anyone yet? Not yet, but there's a lot of... Well, I don't know. Do you count rats as anyone? Because a lot of dead mice and rats down here in the mornings. But I have to clean them all up. I had to scoop them up, actually, right before I did this video. Please compare Gumu Gumu no Mi to Hito Hito no Mi. I mean, it is the same fruit. It's just that it's a mythical zone, and mythical zones have the traits of a animal or a mythical creature and a paramecia ability, basically. It's basically like getting a zone category and a paramecia category in one fruit is basically what you're getting with a mythical zone. That's what it is. And so in the case with Luffy, the traits from the Sun God fruit are the ability to stretch your body like rubber. Can the Seraphim eat devil fruits? I answered that one already. What are the chances Oda makes 4 giants? I named that. I read that already. That was good. Fee, Fi, Fo, and Fum would be neat. I think that would be cool. Let's see. I answered that one about Haki. I should probably start marking these. Let's see. Answered that one from Chris. How would Blackbeard rating Fishman Island go? I answered that one. How would the average citizen? Answered that one. We'll get more information on Blackbeard's bloodline. Yes. Banshee, who do you think the silhouette is in Elbaf? Shiki, Loki, or Gabon? Rate my username, just some Yonko. Just some Yonko, 7 out of 10. What animal zones haven't we seen yet that you are most excited to see? Tyrannosaurus Rex! Pistol shrimp, or maybe the mantis shrimp. Yeah, the mantis shrimp is the pistol shrimp, I think. That would be cool to see. Yeah, we saw a lot of animals in smile form at, like, the hippo zone. I like to see a regular hippo zone instead of Dobun or Dosen. Dosen was kind of... I feel bad for that guy. Yeah. You got me back into One Piece in 2017. Hadn't seen since Toonami, but had no clue that was happening. I watched your videos and wanted to restart. Keep watching. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, Joaquin. What do you personally want the One Piece to be? I don't know what I want the One Piece to be. I really couldn't tell you, but I'll tell you what. I want... Whenever we see the One Piece, whenever we find out what it is, like they have the chapter of what it is, I want to laugh. I want to laugh the same that Roger laughed. I want to have a good, hearty laugh at what the One Piece fucking is. You know what I want my reaction to be? I will do my reaction. This is what I want my reaction to be. All right? I'm reading not the last One Piece chapter, but I'm reading the chapter where the One Piece is revealed. All right, here we go. Here's what it is. All right, we're going to find out. As soon as I click this page, we're going to find out what the One Piece is. Motherfucker, Oda. Mother... Son 30 years leading than that. All right, you got me. That's what I want my reaction to be. Something akin to that. All right, if I can have that, then I'll say it's happy. I'll say it's good. Yeah. Do you think that Conquerors is kind of similar to Nen in the sense that it seems to advance Conquerors Haki actively creates or gives the user a new technique? No, because Nen is way more diverse. Conquerors does not have the ability to Luffy. Like Luffy can't just be like, with my Conquerors Haki, I want an ability where I can channel all 6 elements in my one hand. You know, Nen can do that. You know, Luffy can't. I mean, he could do a bunch of wacky shit with his devil fruit, but yeah, Zoro can't be like, with my Conquerors Haki, I want to make a sword. I want to go Bankai like Ichigo. Nen could do that in theory. You know, yeah. What the fuck is on my hair? I laid in something weird on the ground there. Okay. Let's see. I answered that one then. But yeah, Nen is way more intricate and broad in the way it works. Conquerors Haki is a lot more simplistic. But I think that's fine. Just got here. Sorry if you've been asked this, but have you heard of Kid being the 7th Vegapunk? What do you think of it? I answered that earlier. I don't think he's the 7th Vegapunk. He has a backstory that's firmly grounded in the South Blue, but well before. I guess not. Well, yeah. It's been well before. It was 20-something years ago is how old Kid is. That was well before he was doing satellite stuff. Yeah. Will Hancock adopt S Snake? Maybe if Luffy asks her. You know, for a while there, I thought they were like Boa was going to look at S Snake and be like, you are an abomination created by the world government stealing my blood. You shouldn't exist. But now the idea of S Snake being adopted by Boa as her mom, that's actually kind of adorable. I kind of want that to happen now. Yeah, because especially since, Boa was kidnapped and abused by the Celestial Dragons, and now she can maybe look at this as an opportunity to oh, I can make this better for her, do it for her kind of thing, right? Yeah, I could see that now. What does being free, most free, mean to you? To be the sun god. In the context of One Piece, it's to be the sun god, to have any kind of ability of power and, not, cast off the chains of oppression and all that. I don't know what that is. Do you think Oda will give the mini fruit from Phil? I answered that one already. I do think it'll be incorporated somewhere. I very easily could. Wish S Hawk had Buggy's fruit. Yeah. There's a couple of different options for that. It didn't have to be Mr. One's, although Mr. One's makes the most sense because it's a blade human. But yeah. S-Hawk had Buggy's fruit. That would be a pretty good one as well, but I think Mr. One's is the better option. Banshee is the turtle Robin wrote as Miss All Sunday. Oh, right. Yes, that was the animal. Probably living in Alabasta, because I'm assuming that's probably the indigenous area where that animal lives. Just like the Supersonic Duck Squadron or those carrier lizards that were in Alabasta. That's their home. The Kung Fu Dugongs, same thing. That's where they live. That's their ecosystem. Will we see who moved Luffy to the food machine? Really think that was Augur. Really think it was Augur. Not enough people know that Usopp's the one that stitched Zoro's wound from Mihawk back together at the Baratie. He's like a stagehand, thankless work. I mean, he tried his best, but I don't think he did a great job, because when he got to Arlong Park and the doctor looked at him, he was like, oh, dear Lord. This is definitely not done by a professional. It'd be like, you give me some antiseptic, some peroxide, a needle and thread, and ask me to stitch up somebody's wound. I mean, I'll do the best I can. It'll probably be better than nothing, but it's not going to be professionally stitched. I cannot tie a knot for shit. What 2 devil fruits would you combine for yourself? Ooh. Dude, that would be really good. Probably 2 devil fruits that probably fire and ice kind of thing. That would be fun. Magma and Aokiji's, the Magu Magu no Mi and the Hiya Hiya no Mi. That would make a good combination. Basically just be Todoroki from My Hero Academia. But that'd be really strong with all the magma and the ice at once. Eam or Blackbeard is the final boss. I'm leaning more toward Blackbeard being the final boss than Eam. I'm imagining Eam being defeated by Dragon and the Revolutionary Army, and Blackbeard being defeated by the Straw Hats. I'm not imagining this in a way where Luffy defeats Akainu, Luffy defeats Blackbeard, Luffy defeats Eam, Luffy defeats all the Gorosei, or the Straw Hats defeat all the Gorosei. I'm not picturing it like that. I'm picturing it like there's a lot of other strong characters in the story, and there's other people that can fight them. Who is stronger, Mihawks or Shanks? Mihawk In terms of just raw swordsmanship, I'm going to probably give money to Mihawk. You know, I'm going to say that seriously. I think Mihawk is stronger than Shanks, and it might honestly come down to the idea that, like, Mihawk does have 2 arms. Like, you could say, listen, Shanks only has the 1 arm. He can kick the ass out of anybody. You know, like 99.9% of everybody in this world is getting their ass sliced in half by Shanks in 1 arm. But Mihawk is the lone exception to that. Mihawk is on the same caliber as Shanks, if not stronger, and he has 2 hands. So it really might just come down to that when you're talking about 2 masters of the sword, right? Shanks will kick everybody else, no problem. Slice him up like freaking salami. Mihawk is the lone exception, though. Yeah, G5 complete. I answered that one. I think he's going to learn not learn new techniques like he couldn't use them already, but he, you know, was like, oh, I can do that now all along. That's a thing. You know, it'll probably be like that. Would you be down to look at my Jeopardy board? Like a One Piece Jeopardy? You can email me. You can, like, email me the Jeopardy board, and I can take a look at it there. Will Hancock adopt S Snake? I think so. Frankie shows Lilith the blueprints for the End War. That'd be funny. Yeah. How big of a role will Morgans play? He seems to be getting more than usual screen time, but that could just be him being with Vivi. I mean, yeah, I think it's a combination of that, but also just, you know, remember Morgans is like the, you know, he's the monopoly that controls the newsprint in the news media in the entire One Piece world. So he's going to be seen a lot because a lot of the stuff from the One Piece, where I think Morgans is going off the reservation in a big way. Like, he's not listening to what the world government's saying anymore. He's just posting whatever he thinks is going to get the most, you know, what's going to buy the most papers, right? So he's going to do whatever the hell he wants from this point onward, and the government's not going to be able to stop him, and the only people that are going to be able to stop him is if somebody kills him, right? So that'll be, I think, how Morgans goes. Will there be Yu-Gi-Oh! Later? Yes, there will be at 3 o'clock. Where are we at right now? We're almost at about an hour, so I wanted to do this for about an hour and a half, just a quick little stream, because I wanted to eat lunch and do some other stuff, and then we'll do the stream at 3, so I will take a break from Super Chats right now. I read that one. I will start at this moment right here at Tomer. I'll start, like, right here. Have you heard about the Bing Sake there? I'll start from that, but I do want to go back to the regular chat here now. What is the most underrated devil fruit in your opinion? It's the jacket fruit. Now, underrated devil fruit abilities. Let's see. So there's devil fruits that are like, the ones that I do think suck are like the target fruit that Vanderdecken has. And I mean, honestly, the jacket fruit isn't really bad when it's used by the correct person. Like, the great example is like, Ben Beckman eats the jacket fruit and Shanks puts him on, or something like that, or vice versa. You know, somebody puts on Shanks as a jacket. Like, that would be insanely powerful. Foxy's fruit. If Foxy's fruit is underrated, I could see that, because Foxy is kind of an idiot. But yeah, in the hands of somebody that's really smart, his fruit would be extremely powerful. So I'll go with Foxy's slow fruit, yeah. The explosion fruit was underutilized. I agree. I definitely agree. Do you think Eam and Joy Boy were best friends, and Eam was Joy Boy's first mate, and they did a mutiny? So I think no, because Eam was clearly a member of the 20 alliances, the alliance of what the world government would eventually be, right? That's what Eam was. Although I do think there was like a best friend kind of figure next to Joy Boy, but he was also a member of the Will of D, and that was the ancestor of Rox and Blackbeard. Is Vivi aware of almost being a celestial dragon? I mean, technically speaking, just going purely by hereditary, like, descendants and stuff like that, Vivi is a celestial dragon. You know what I mean? If the idea is just, like, the descendants of the original founders are celestial dragons, Vivi is, like, a celestial dragon. It's just that the only difference is they didn't decide to live in Marijois, and so that's the only difference. But yeah, I mean, she'll probably find out about that, and she'll be a little conflicted about that, but it's going to be ultimately like, well, this is how I've chose to live my life, and I don't care about whether or not I'm a celestial dragon or who my ancestors were or what I'm supposed to be. This is how I'm living my life now, kind of thing, right? What do you think is Lafitte's devil fruit? So Lafitte has the ability to turn into Some kind of burb. Some kind of burb. Now, you could just say... Hold on, I have a thing here. When did I make that video? Was it 2020? Yes. So you could say he just has the ability to turn into, like, a birdman, like a dove or a pigeon or something. I like to think Lafitte has a mythical zone, because we're doing a lot of mythical zones lately, right? He's a mythical zone user, and his ability is like an angel or, I guess, a seraphim. But no, like mythical angel kind of zone. And we haven't really seen angel zones like that. We've seen them in One Piece D&D, but we haven't seen them in One Piece itself. And so that would also explain how he was able to, like, sneak into Marijois, because, like, just being able to fly, I don't think gives you the ability to sneak into Marijois the way that you did. The way that Lafitte did. The Siren Fruit, people have said that. So I think some ability to beguile others. He is a hypnotist after all. The other abilities to, like, I don't know. Oh, by the way, yeah, that's another thing too. Like, he can hypnotize people. And you might think it's like, well, he's a mime. Are mimes known to hypnotize people? Is that a thing? No, the hypnotization might not even be like Django's ability. It might just be his Devil Fruit power. Yeah. But there's that. Won't Sky Islands become prime targets for people fleeing the flood? Oh, absolutely. That's also why Vegapunk wanted to keep the Cloud Maker device thing working. So that way that people could live on the clouds. Aren't Weevil, Queen, King, and Jack in the Toby Rope and Impel Down? No, they're in the Udon prison last time we saw them. Unless Aramaki captured them and brought them back, which he could have. Definitely could have. He was there and he left, so he could have brought King and Queen back and Jack and thrown them in Impel Down, the Toby Ropo as well. Drake wasn't in there. He was at the hospital right now because he is a Marine. We actually haven't seen what happened to the Toby Ropo, really. Weevil, it was directly mentioned Weevil was captured by Aramaki, so he should be in Impel Down right now, yes. Indeed. Do you prefer manga in color or traditional? Both. Both are fine with me. Like, I prefer, like to read it in black and white, and then I'll, like, later on go back, because it gives a good rereading experience to see it in color. Do you play Magic the Gathering? Not well, but I know how to play it, yeah. How will Luffy react if he finds out that Blackbeard captured Garp? He'll probably want to go save him, but I don't think he'll be able to go save him at this point. Do you think of Vegapunk transitioning into 100% hot women? Vegapunk just yeah. Vegapunk's like, he makes a bunch of dudes and then like 2 women, or I guess 3 women because Atlas, and then, you know, all the guy bodies die, and the only ones left are York and Lilith. Well, I wonder if that had anything to do. I wonder if Oda was like, we have to make sure the hot Vegapunks survive. Do you think Genshin? It's very similar. Do you play Genshin? It's very similar to One Piece. I played Genshin for like a month. Like, I didn't play it for very long. Is Weevil a failed clone of Whitebeard? He very well could be. In fact, I'm thinking that right now. I'm thinking that, yeah, he's a botch clone of Whitebeard. Do you think that Luffy and Shanks are going to battle each other at any point? I think they're going to do the Davy back. I don't think they're going to do a fight to the death or something so dramatic, but they will do something along the lines of, like, Davy back fighting. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis will not be Kureha, but what do you think of the chances of her being Suru? I mean, like, that's way down the line. Maybe not, actually, because Suru appears right after Alabasta. Maybe they use her for that, but it really just depends on her schedule and if they can afford her. Which maybe just for a role as Osuru they could afford her, because Osuru doesn't pop up that often. Do you think King would protect Wano if Blackbeard attacks? I don't think King wants to die. I also don't think King wants to be imprisoned by anybody, especially after his whole life is spent in prison. So if he could, like, you know, use it as an example to break out and then get away, and then, you know, have to fight Blackbeard on the way, sure. But I think just, you know, Blackbeard against King, Blackbeard would win. Yes, Stussy was the first successful clone, not the first clone. That is important. It did specifically mention the title card for Stussy. did specifically say... I always thought that there are no bad devil fruits, just the whole without creativity. There's definitely devil fruits that provide a lot more restrictions than other devil fruits. Like, just having the lightning fruit by itself is pretty damn good, versus the jacket fruit that you have to have somebody else use. That's a major restriction. Yeah, right here. Yeah, her title, her box art thing literally said, Mad's first successful clone, Stussy, modeled after former member of the Rocks Pirates, Miss Buckingham Stussy. Right. So we're all under that. So we're all under the idea that maybe Weevil is a botch clone. We got that. Got it. I don't think anyone can make the jacket fruit useful. Oh no, you could definitely make the jacket fruit useful. You just have to understand that, like, you know, it's you have to have two people for it. How do you think all the races in One Piece came to be? I think it was like, well, I think a lot of them, like nowadays, like Whitebeard and stuff that's like really big, and Big Mom, I think they just have like giant blood, like way back in their ancestry, you know. But I think they all existed to begin with. Like, that's just how evolution worked in the One Piece world, I guess. You had giants and dwarves and long legs and long arms and snake necks and everything. I don't think there was a moment that, like, they were created by, well, I guess we do have kind of gods in the One Piece world now, but they don't operate in the same way that we know. In fact, we only know about one god right now. We know about Luffy, or the sun god. We know Nika. We know that god. Whether that was like a creator god that like made the world they were on right now. I guess we know about the Mother Nature, god of the ocean as well. You know, where all life came. But is it like a situation where Eem created the earth, or like the mother ocean created the entire earth, or created the earth and then evolution took its hold and just you have giants and Tontatas just naturally? I'm not really sure. What if Tontatas and giants bred and they made regular size humans? Nice visual there, but like, yeah, no, I don't think that's how it worked. Dude, I would love Sniper Island to be an actual place. I want Sniper Island to be a real island so damn bad. Like, it turns out it actually exists. And it turns out it's Laugh Tale. Ever since we learned Dragon used to be a Marine, I've wanted to see what was the event that made him defect and if he confronted Garp about it. I think it had something to do with his wife or love interest, Luffy's mom. It had something to do with Luffy's mom. Yeah, something around that. Whether it be that Dragon's wife was a celestial dragon, or she was executed because she dared to, you know, leave. She wanted to leave Marijois or something like that, and she was removed that way. I'm not really sure. Something, it's mentioned that Dragon found out about the way the world really works. He found out about the way that how corrupted the government was, and he's like, I'm not going to find justice working in the organization that is in charge of the corruption. I need to be outside the organization in order to stop the corruption. Full of lead is Sniper Island. Ah! Could be. Who's stronger, Shanks or Kaido? If it's one-on-one, bet on Kaido. The narrator said that, so you know it's true. Who is stronger, Saga King or Usopp? Now we're getting into the right questions. Saga King. Saga King's stronger. I think it was the same time that Akainu got more radicalized. Yeah, I feel like there was definitely an event. Maybe it's not one event, but there's definitely a moment in a Marine's like career where they achieve a high enough rank where they can begin to see how corrupt shit is on top. Because when you join the Marines originally, you're like a bright-eyed young cadet, and you're like, I'm going to be a beacon of justice and save the world from pirates. Yeah. There's definitely a point where you start to learn how things really work, and it's like you don't learn about Eam and everything like that, but you learn about like, ooh, this is actually really corrupted and messed up. And it's like, okay, well, I'm already in. I guess I got to stay. Or you decide to defect. And if you defect, that's like the worst thing you could do. You join the revolutionaries. The government's going to be coming after you now. Most Marines probably don't want to do that. So it's like, all right, I guess I'll just... Most Marines probably arrive at this conclusion. They probably arrive at the, well, I guess I'll just stay a Marine and try to reform it from the inside. Yeah, it doesn't really work that well, but that's probably the conclusion a lot of Marines arrive at, because they don't want to defect and go be revolutionaries. What do you think the name of Stussy's devil fruit name is? I think it's the Succubi mythical zone. That's why, yeah, I'll have Stussy be the Succubi. Maybe Lafitte can be a Siren. Yeah, Dragon had the balls to actually break off and start a revolutionary army. That takes balls. Big cojones. Giant balls. How do you say huge balls in French? Is that even a saying in French? I know in Spanish, you know, it's like cojones, but I don't know in French. How do you say, like, man, that guy's got big balls? Grandes bolas. Dragon balls. He's got some dragon balls, baby. Favorite Brook theory? He was attacked by the Germa, like the earlier rendition of the Germa are the pirates that attacked the Rumbar crew. Enormes burnes. Okay. Les grandios belles. Yeah, it seems so elegant in French. Yeah. A 7-year-old eats a dog fruit. Does the dog formant age in human years or in dog years? Given Vivi's mom is TT, who do you think she was the royal and Cobra as a consort? Yeah, so Nefer, it's based off of Nefertiti, is the wife of Amenhotep, who was later Akhenaten. That's the basis for the last name, their family name, Nefertari. All right, Nefertiti, Nefertari. So TT is the last name. So that's where the reference is there. Yeah, it could be. It could be Nefertiti was the queen and Cobra was the consort. It's possible. Oh, this stream's on your birthday. Well, happy birthday. Who wins in a fight to the death, Marco or King? I'd say Marco would win that. Marco is a little bit out of practice, but I think Marco, when he was still the 1st Division commander of Whitebeard's crew, versus King, and I don't think there was a lot of difference between King 2 years ago and King now. Marco's admittedly he's not been in action for about a year since the Payback War. So you take King now, Marco back then, I think Marco would eventually win, yeah. Marco's healing factor is a big deal, all right? It's a big factor. We're not discussing spoilers this stream now. Will you do any more 4Kids One Piece streams? Probably not. I think I did enough. Who makes the biggest poopies? I mean, if we're doing this logically, it would have to be a Sea King. It would have to be one of the Sea Kings. There you go. Why does King not become a Yonko if Kaido dies? Well, in order to become a Yonko, you kind of have to exert, like, well, first of all, you have to want to be a Yonko, I suppose. King probably doesn't want to be a Yonko. King is probably still pretty dejected over the fact that Kaido is dead, because that was, like, his, like, King is like, oh, yes, Kaido, he is the reincarnation of Joy Boy. He will be the one. And he got thrown into a volcano. So, yeah, I don't think King really wants to be a Yonko right now. Also, the crew is absolutely fucking decimated, so there is really no Yonko crew yet. There's no Beast Pirates left. There are, but they're not an organized crew anymore. So I don't see any way that he could be considered a Yonko. And he got thrown in prison and got defeated by Aramaki. So he's not being a Yonko. Luffy never wanted to be a Yonko. Yes, but he's still an active pirate out there in the world with a crew that's done some real heavy shit. Also, I feel like Luffy kind of wanted to become a Yonko, too. Like, Luffy's not like, oh, I'm a Yonko now. I don't want to be a Yonko. That sucks. I want to be Pirate King, not a Yonko. Nah, I think Luffy wanted to be a Yonko. Shanks was a Yonko, so he wanted to be like, I'm on the same level as Shanks now. Like, I think Luffy wanted that, yeah. How are the Vegapunks not affected by the devil fruit weakness of Stella's brain being underwater? So it's probably not water. It's probably some kind of culture fluid. Vegapunk, being the researcher of devil fruits, probably figured out the viscosity problem. He probably figured out, like, so if a devil fruit user is submerged in any liquid, they are weakened. Does that work with, like, Jell-O? Does it work with yogurt? Probably not, which means there's some kind of middle ground here. There's some kind of X factor. You know, there's got to be some kind of thing between liquid and semi-liquid that, like, is the middle ground here where it doesn't weaken you. All right? And Vegapunk, being a scientist, probably figured out the chemical composition of that fluid. You know? Gross viscosity. Hey, these are questions. Yes. Would a crab zone be powerful? Absolutely. The combination of two devil fruits. I mean, I think it would be really cool if Blackbeard had the power of light and darkness. I'm not sure how that would work with Logia's, like, but dude, that would be badass. How does a sword eat a devil fruit? Probably most likely what happens is Vegapunk reduces the devil fruit down to some kind of, like, coating or liquid, like kind of like the green blood for the Seraphim, except it's different for zones. I think zones probably easier to make this out of. You make like the resin, or like it might be honestly as simple as just taking the sword, laying it down, cracking open a devil fruit, extracting the fruit juice or the goo or whatever, and then just painting the entire thing over the sword, and then it seeps into the substance and it becomes an animal. But only for zones, not Paramecias. Let's go to the super chats again. Let's pick up where I left off there, because we got about 15 more minutes or so. Let's see, where did I leave off? There we go. I have not heard about the Ohara Bink Sake theory. I've heard a lot of theories about Bink Sake, like Ohara did mention in another video, maybe this is the one I'm thinking of, where he mentions that Bink Sake is like, because there's a moment in the song about going to the land of the dead and then the land of the living, and then maybe that's a parallel to like the underworld, and maybe the One Piece is Bink Sake. You know, Bink was a guy that really existed. Oh, you mean like Ohara the YouTuber, not Ohara the island. Now I'm starting to like, okay, Ohara's video on Bink Sake theory. I have seen that one, and that was that's the one I was thinking of. That had some really interesting ideas in it. Yeah. Like the Straw Hats going to like the underworld or something would be cool as shit. Brooke gets to be like, okay, everybody, well, let me show you around. It's a common trope, but thoughts on Eam being Joy Boy? I don't want Eam to be Joy Boy now. Will we actually see Eneru again? Oh, wait, I did answer these already. Let's see. I answered that one. They will still be wanted people. Do you think the revolution of Dragon will take out of his crimes? Yeah, I mean, like, no, Luffy wants to be a pirate. Luffy's still going to be a pirate at the end of the story. It's not going to be like well, they're not pirates anymore, don't worry about them. No, they're still going to be pirates. They're still going to be criminals, but that's the way they like it. Live the life on the sea and adventure. They'll probably still be chased after by the Marines, 10, 20 years from now. But the world will be a little bit of a brighter place. Like, slavery won't exist anymore. So that'll be nice. That'll be good. Yeah. And the Straw Hats will probably be separated, but they'll still get back together every now and then to, hang out and go on some adventures every once in a blue moon, yeah. What would you think if Moriya's home? See, I answered these questions already, yeah. Answered that one. Answered that one. Answered that one. Okay. Answered that one. Devil fruit, what I want, I always say the op fruit, or maybe the warp fruit, because I always love teleportation abilities, the ability to like teleport, but teleport to like any place on the planet, so I don't have to like worry about travel, because I always get motion sickness. I could just go. Like, I just want to visit Japan. Okay, blip, come back. I'm wearing all my Japanese stuff that I bought. It's like, hey guys, check it out. Like, that'd be cool. There'll be another Impel Down breakout. Yeah, I answered all these already, huh? Okay, I was making more progress than I thought originally. It's that one. Are you going to go back and read old super chats? I did. Thoughts on Blackbeard and Moria fruit combo? Oh, yeah, like if Blackbeard stole Moria's devil fruit, but Moria's maybe still alive, like, yeah, that would be really good. Like the Whitebeard Ace zombie thing is not a bad idea. I'm okay with that. Like, fucking bring them back as zombies. It won't be the same thing in Naruto, like where they have their personalities and they automatically heal and shit, but like, it'll be pretty damn cool to see zombie Whitebeard. You can't say, raise your hand if you want to see zombie Whitebeard in this manga. What power-ups do you think the monster trio will get? Dude, I mean, I think at this point, I think their powers are pretty much like they already got their power-ups in Wano, so they might just have these for the rest of the story. Maybe they'll have like one extra final new attack for like the final battle, but I don't see them like I don't think Sanji's going to go get another Jambe after this. I think Ifrit Jambe is like his upgrade. Would you review a long series like this again? I mean, like if there's another series that starts up after this and it just keeps going and going and it's really good, then absolutely, I suppose, yeah. Do you think that Eam's eyes and Mihawk's would be relevant someday? What do you think about Teach being capable of having two fruits? That's probably a multiple souls kind of situation. As for the eyes, there's a lot of characters that exhibit those same kind of eyes. And I think Oda does that kind of sometimes just for dramatic effect. You know, I don't think the eye thing is going to be relevant. I don't think it's going to be like, ooh, they have special eyes. Mihawk and Eam are related. And maybe they will be, and I'll be proven wrong. But I think it's just something that, like, Oda does. In fact, I made a whole video about this one time. Like, right when Eam was introduced. I think I called it, like... Hold on, was it 2020? Was it 2019? Let's see here. Well, Eam was revealed in 2018, wasn't he? Because that was right before Wano. That was when... Yep, here it is, eyes. Yeah, there's lots of characters that have crazy eyes. Like Caribou. Caribou has the eyes. Hakuba. When Cavendish goes into Hakuba, he has eyes. Perona has the eyes. Mihawk obviously has the eyes. Sasuke has the eyes. Yeah. Zunisha has the eyes. I think it's just a dramatic effect thing that Oda's like, oh, focus on the eyes right now. They're doing something important. They're doing Conqueror's Haki right now, or something like that, you know? Or they're intimidatingly glaring at you. Regarding your Elbaf video, would the Yeti Cool Brothers be part of the Frost Giant race? You know, now I'm starting to think that the Yeti Cool Brothers were just, like, not failed, but, like, numbers that were created on Punk Hazard. Like, they were created on Punk Hazard by Vegapunk and Caesar way back in the day, and they went off in the world to become mercenaries, and they came back. That's what I'm thinking. You know, like, they were, like, basically what the numbers were. Yeah. First of all, thank you for all these years, man. Second, do you think Kaido and Big Mom could have won at Marineford? Third, are we getting a giant on the crew? I don't think we'll get a giant on the crew, but yeah, if Kaido and Big Mom rolled up at Marineford instead of Whitebeard, like Kaido and Big Mom together as an alliance, they would have won. If it was just Kaido and not Whitebeard, just Kaido, yeah, I still think that would have been a pretty good chance, because Kaido's crew just has way more fucking firepower than Whitebeard's does. Like, you're looking at the... Because here's the thing, like, you know, Kaido just turns into a dragon and borrow breaths from the sky. Like, I mean, like, yeah, the admirals could try to prevent that, but, like, they're not going to be able to block every single borrow breath. Like, Akainu goes up to block one of the borrow breaths. Kaido fires another one. Kizaru blocks that one. Another borrow breath. Like one of these borrow breaths is going to hit the fucking marine base at some point. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be tough. You know, plus King and Queen and Jack are stomping around. Like, oh my god, that would have been intense. Big Mom with all of the homies being summoned and all of her crazy powers. Keep in mind also, Whitebeard was pretty sick at the time. We didn't see Whitebeard at his best. You know, Big Mom and Kaido, or maybe you could argue Big Mom's not in her prime, but she kind of is. Kaido definitely was in his prime. Yeah. I am a big fan and have been since I saw your video about zone fruits when I was still studying to become a biologist. I hope you have become a biologist now. I have found your videos awesome ever since. Well, thank you, Christian. Do you think a homie can eat a devil fruit? Yes. Yes. In fact, I think there might actually be an example of that happening. Might not be exact, but yeah, so if you get turned into a homie, you're an object or an animal that's been given a soul from somebody else. So you're the product of a devil fruit user, but you could probably still use a devil fruit as well. Let me just look really quick on that, because I think there's an example of that. So I guess not. Like, Randolph didn't have one. Nitro the Jelly, the Queen Mama Shanter didn't have one. Zeus, Prometheus, Napoleon didn't have devil fruit abilities. Pandora didn't have a devil fruit ability. Hera doesn't. So, Yeah, I guess not. But I don't see why they couldn't. Yeah. What do you think the power of love is? It's big. It's Boa's power. It's the power of love. Well, that's more the power of like, well, not even lust. We've discovered that's more of the power of just like having any strong like affinity for another human being is the Momonosuke. Yeah. Let's see. What if One Piece is just the One Piece manga? It's funny. Oda's not going to do anything stupid like that, though. Like, it's a funny joke, but no. I'm not even against the One Piece being a joke, but it's not going to be that kind of, like, fourth wall meta-breaking joke. If we have a Lunarian Fishman hybrid as shark, could a mink Fishman hybrid be possible? Yeah, sure. I am writing quickly before I bike home after a bad day at work. This is my last post. I hope you see this. I've seen this, Christian. I hope it wasn't a bad day of work at being a biologist because you were trying to be a biologist. I hope you do better, man. I hope everything works out for you. I really do. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you could have a mink Fishman hybrid for sure. Like, I don't see any reason why not, either through cloning or through just natural processes. Do you think the mural on the moon holds significance? Oh, absolutely. It basically depicts the mother flame. So yeah, it holds a lot of significance. Hey, love the work. I was wondering, when was Blackbeard on Drum Island? Do you think Chopper's dad is Rocks? Chopper's dad is... You mean Haralook? Haralook was Rocks this whole time? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Haralook. How old was Haralook when he died? He was 68 when he died. But he died a few years ago. When did he die? Okay, Haralook was 68 when he died. Hold on, I'm going to go back to the regular chat here for a moment. You might be on to something here. It all makes sense now. His hair is wrong. You can't change your hairstyle in 30 years. It's impossible. Okay. The hairstyle you have at age 20 is the hairstyle you're stuck with for the rest of your days. Kureha might have been a pirate. I could see her being a pirate at some point, definitely. Kureha's lived a long life. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on a minute. When did Haralook die? Haralook died 7 years ago. So he's 68. So he died when he was 61. Oh, no, he was 68 when he died, I think. Yeah, okay, so he was 68 when he died 7 years ago. So it'd be 31 years after God Valley. All right, 68 minus 31. Okay, he would have been 37 at God Valley. That tracks. Haralook was Rocks. All right, there it is. Who did Mihawk need to beat to become the greatest? That one, I think, might actually be a character we've never met before. I think that one might actually be... Like, I don't think it was Rayleigh or anybody. It might have been a character that was like the former greatest swordsman in the world. Probably might have been a Marine, because remember, Mihawk was the Marine hunter back in the day. So maybe the strongest swordsman was a Marine vice admiral, maybe even an admiral, because this would have been like maybe 20 years ago, something like that. Because, you know, Zoro is like 21 right now, and he wants to be the strongest swordsman in the world. He's probably going to be the strongest swordsman in the world by the end of the story. And that's the case with him. And so Mihawk's in his mid-40s right now. So yeah, probably like 20, 25 years ago might have been around the time when he defeated, what's it called? The strongest swordsman. So it might have been a Marine at that point, yeah. But yeah, let me get back to the Super Chat so I can get through these here. Let's see. Hey, love the work. I was wondering, oh, why was Blackbeard on Drum Island? Oh, yeah. So I forgot to answer that one. Okay. So when that was, or where that was, when that was, I'm assuming. Okay. Yeah, it was probably before Luffy left Fuchsia, I'm thinking. Because it was like a few months before... Like, because Blackbeard had to defect from Whitebeard's crew, get his own crew shit in order, and then go out to the Grand Line and start doing their adventure and stuff. So that was probably, yeah, I think like 6 months before the start of the story. It wasn't very long before. Maybe it was right around the same time Kuma was watching Luffy on Fuchsia Village training. Maybe it was around the same time is when Blackbeard defected. Yeah. Thoughts on Hannibal being the main character in Impel Down? He says he wants to be Warden, as Luffy saying he wants to be Pirate King, and Luffy being the main villain also beats down. Well, actually, yeah, I should do a Hannibal video. Hannibal is the Warden of Impel Down right now. He is the Warden. Magellan is still the most reliable man in the prison, but Hannibal does have the title of Warden. He also gained a lot of weight. He's really fat right now. But yeah, if there's a breakout, I could see like Doflamingo like holding up Hannibal by the neck and just being like, haha, time to break out of this place. You know, I could see that happening, yeah. How do Straw Hats afford Luffy's appetite? Oh, it's tough. Nami has to do a lot of the budgeting on that one, yeah. Then again, a lot of the food they eat is like, hey, we're just going to kill this giant sea king, and that'll satiate Luffy for like a day. You think Frankie will fight Vasco Shot? I want to see Frankie fight either Pizarro or San Juan Wolf. Yeah, but Vasco Shot would be fun too. I guess because he's Glug Glug Fruit, he relies on liquor. So Frankie's soda, I could see that. I just want to see Frankie using his cyborg tech to like knock down San Juan Wolf, which could still happen. We could do a thing where Frankie fights with San Juan for a little while, and then he goes to the real fight with Vasco. I mean, we could do that. Strats could like fumble around like, okay, who's the best? Obviously Shiryu's going to fight Zoro. Obviously Augur's going to fight Usopp. Who's going to fight everybody? Jinbei, are you going to fight Pizarro, or are you going to fight against a Wolf, you know, or a Burgess? Who are you fighting? You know what I mean? Like, could, you know, divvy it around a little bit there. What do you think of Marcus Mars finding crashing Morgan's ship and kidnapping Vivi, the catalyst for the next war? Marcus Mars finding crashing Morgan's ship and kidnapping Vivi. I guess he could do that because he's a bird, but so that's one of those things in One Piece where you think, like, well, there's really no reason why he couldn't do that. There's no reason why he couldn't just break into Morgan's, like, blimp and steal Vivi and leave. There's really nothing stopping him. Is that going to happen? Probably not, but there really shouldn't be anything stopping him. I know. Is Vivi aware of almost being a Celestial Dragon? I answered that one already. Yes, I don't know if she is now, but she will be probably at some point. Lafita's Morgans. I've seen a theory that Morgans used to be a member of Roger's crew. Mr. Momoma, I think his name was, or Monono. And it actually doesn't completely, it actually kind of makes sense. Weevil's a fell clone of Whitebeard. I answered that one. Jamie Lee Curtis from the live action. Yep. Answered that one. Would you like to be a Celestial Dragon? No. Ever since we learned Dragon used to be a Marine, I've wanted to see what was the event that made him defect and if he confronted GARP about it. Answered that one. Buggy's nose. I think Buggy's nose just is a birth thing. I think it's just how his nose looked. I think his mom had a nose just like it. It'd be funny to see Buggy's mom. You think you can awaken a Smile Fruit, and do you think you can make a Smile Fruit of Nika? No, I don't think you can awaken Smile Fruits. These are like diet dollar store versions made by Caesar, and I don't think you can I don't think you could make a smile of a mythical. Maybe Vegapunk might be able to do that, but he did. He made the clone of the mythical zone. So it is possible of the dragon fruit. Could do that, but I don't think Caesar could do that with the smile technology. Yeah, I don't know. I guess if a 7-year-old eats a dog fruit, well, no, I think the basis is still they are still human, so you won't die. You know, you would still be able to turn into a dog. Now, if a dog ate a human fruit, that might lead to another issue. Like, how long do reindeer live? Like, hold on a minute here. Alexa, how long do reindeer live on average?
A reindeer's lifespan is typically between 12 years and 15 years.
Oh! 12 to 15 years for a reindeer, but I'm assuming, like, whatever animal you consume, if your base form has a higher life expectancy, that'll be it. If the animal you have in the zone form has higher life expectancy, it'll just default to whatever's the highest. Let's just assume that's how that works. Otherwise, Chopper's an old man. He's going to die soon. What do you expect to happen, like side plots, like another Impel Down breakout? I could see that. Another raid on Pirate. I think the storyline is going to get really intense from this point onward. Like, really intense kind of shit. Like, we're going to start getting, like, we're going to be cutting all over the world. We're going to have a chapter, what's up with the Cross Guild fighting somebody, and then we're going to cut over to Eneru, and then we're going to cut over to the Gorosei, and then we're going to cut over to the Revolutionary Army. There's going to be a lot of shit. It's going to be very eclectic, and I do not know how Oda's going to structure it, but I hope he does it in a way that is very cohesive. Then again, I don't really care. Even if you want to do, like, here's one chapter with the Straw Hats. Now there's one chapter with Sabo. Now there's one chapter with this. Like, even that would be enough. But, like, it's going to be insane. Do you think Eames going to have a male or female voice? I think it's going to be, like... a really distorted, like... Not robot voice, but, like, alien almost. Or, like, otherworldly creature. Like Cthulhu was speaking to you or something. Like... I am Eames-sama. Not quite as deep as that. Like... I am Eames-sama. Yeah. Oh, let's do that. Let's do like Voldemort kind of shit. Like maybe something like that, right? Yeah. Will Luffy give the straw back to Shanks? I think he will, but then I think Shanks will give it right back to Luffy. And he'll give it back to Luffy and be like, when you find somebody like in the future, like somebody to give the hat to, give it to them, right? I think that's the way it'll be. If One Piece ended and they made two One Piece, if One Piece ended and they made Two Piece, would you do chapter cover for it? Yes. If they did Two Piece, which I doubt they're going to call it that, there will be spin-off mangas, for sure. Sidequels, prequels, sequels. There's going to be probably a few. Record of Ragnarok has 2 other side mangas going on right now. One that's about Jack the Ripper, and another one that's about all the gods fighting each other. It's great. You know, like, so Record of Ragnarok has 2 spin-offs. One Piece is going to have a lot, and I'll talk about those. I don't know if they're being called Two Piece, but I will talk about those. If Whitebeard lived and healed up, would he have been another emperor Luffy had to beat? If Whitebeard never got sick, then yeah, Luffy would have to eventually deal with him. He would eventually had to, like, probably figure out some way to fight him. That would have been really cool, but that's just a different era, you know? Like, you know, it was not in Luffy's day, as it were. In the Nolan flashback, it mentions the god of sun, rain, forest, earth. What are your thoughts on there being fruits of these gods, just like Luffy's sun god fruit? Dude, if we're going sun god, we might as well go god rain, god of the forest, god of the earth. Might as well do all that. God of the ocean is probably Umi, you know, could be that. I'm 100% for that. I mean, gods were never really a big relevant thing in the One Piece world, but now that we're finding out about the secret of all that, and also we could find out, like, gods are not gods in the way that, like, they're not creator gods. Like, is not like, I create the universe. You know, it's not like that. It is like, I am the god of the ocean. That is my domain. The forest is that domain. The rain is that, the storms, that's their domain, right? Like, maybe there's the god of the storms, and they can use their abilities like Storm from X-Men can, but they're not like an actual deity, right? Pretty damn powerful, but not a deity in the sense of, like, I snap my fingers and I erase all life on the planet. Like, they couldn't do anything like that. But might as well do it if we're going full in on it. Might as well. You say that Aokiji fruit is the element of cold, but do we have confirmation? It's the chili fruit, which that's what it literally means. But yeah, I mean, in order to make ice, you have to have cold, and I'm sure could Aokiji, like, whenever he walks into an area, could he reduce just the temperature? I think he could do that. I don't know if it's ever been confirmed he could do that, but I think he could do that. Yeah. Do you think Blackbeard will take another fruit, or will only have 2? Maybe 3. Any more than 3 might get really ridiculous, but I can see him having a 3rd one. Who do you think Luffy meets first, Shanks or Dragon? Shanks. He still meets Shanks before he meets his dad. Are you still making a What If Corazon lived vid? Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I will at some point. If the were to kill one member, who would die in the crew? Oh, if I had to choose one member of the Straw Hats to die permanently, I had a gun to my head, I had to pick, or I die. It's like, is that gun loaded? He's like, no. Okay. I'm sorry, Chopper. Sorry, Chopper. Sorry. Just by process of elimination, it's got to be you, man. I'm sorry. No, not Chopper. Can we get a picture of sad Chopper here? Like, I just betrayed Chopper. Sad Chopper, One Piece. Oh my God, this one's so sad. This one is so sad. Hold on a minute. Why, Tekking? Why? Why'd you pick me? I'm just trying to do my best here. I'm a doctor. I'm doing my best. Well, your best isn't good enough, Chopper. Sorry. Nah, Usopp's gotta live. Usopp's awesome. Usopp's gotta live. I'm sorry, man. Oh, man. No, Jinbei's gotta live. Jinbei's awesome. He's gotta live. Yeah, I'm sorry, Chopper. I'm sorry, Chopper. All right. All right. It's about an hour and a half into this now. Thanks for the reception on this, guys. This was incredible. I'm going to get through the super chats. Let me just make a quick adjustment here, actually. Let me do this because I do have to go eat lunch, and then I have another stream coming up today, later. Got a couple of other things I want to work on, so I'm going to turn off super chats for right now for the rest of the stream, and just so I can get through the ones that I've already gotten. And then I will read through the rest here. Yes. Okay. Wait, hold on. Let me check one thing. Let me do that. Okay. All right. Let's go through them. All right. Where do we leave off here? You going to start up Bondcast again? Yeah, when Bleach comes back, sure. All right, here we go. So, yeah, sorry, Chopper, you're gone. Since devil fruits... Whoa, hold on a minute. Put that over here. All right. Since devil fruits are manifestations of potential human evolutions, do you think an actual gum fruit might exist out there now since so many people around the world believe Luffy to be a rubber man? Yeah, I think that is how that works. I think it is really how that works. If they believe that, I want to turn into rubber just like Luffy, it's funny. It might actually be up in the Sky Islands because everybody up there is like they discovered rubber and they don't know really a lot about devil fruits in the same way that people down below do. So it might be like, oh man, rubber. So maybe Isa gets the Gumu no Mi and she becomes a rubber person. That would actually be really cool. If like the Skypeans get it, that would be neat because it doesn't exist. Yeah. Who did Mihawk need to beat to become the greatest? Probably a marine swordsman of some known caliber. You know what sucks about teleportation power? Evil people will abuse that power. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to travel the world, man. I'm not going to use it to rob a bank or some shit. I just want to travel to fucking London without dealing with, all right, got to pack all my bullshit up, and then I got to drive to the airport, get to the airport, go in, check in shit, checked baggage, okay. Sit there, walk to my gate, find the gate. I'm like, all right, flight leaves in about 45 minutes. Guess I'm going to go. Oh, no, even before that, we're not even through TSA yet. We got to go through TSA. Got to take off your belt, sir. Nothing in your pocket, sir. Even the plane ticket, I'm not even allowed to have that. Nothing in your pocket, sir. Okay, all right. Even like this gum wrapper, nothing in your pocket, sir. Please put it in the, all right, I'm sorry. I've never done this before. I'm like, all right, get in the scanner. All right, now you got to sit there and wait, like, fucking plane, get on the plane, find a fucking spot on the plane, fucking flight, get there, just like time's all messed up, just teleportation would be so good. Oh, man. Wano Rulers collab. I have a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline lately, so I'm probably not going to do any collabs for a while, but thanks, Anamanda, for the invite. Yeah, we could definitely maybe do something again at some point, but just like not right now at the moment. What are Morgan's motivations for lying about the Straw Hats? Is it just clickbait or something else? I mean, Morgan's job is to sell papers, guys. I mean, come on. We are all aware of what Morgan's is the reference to in our modern day. We all understand what Morgan's is the parallel to, right? We all get that. Morgan's will make up whatever bullshit, except he doesn't have to right now because even the truth is real. The truth is insane. You know what I mean? So he'll fudge it a little bit to make it even more exciting. But, I mean, yeah, for lying about the Straw Hats, it's just clickbait. It's clickbait. It's clickbait to get people to buy papers. Morgan's doesn't give a shit about the Straw Hats. Morgan's doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care about Luffy's reputation. Why would he? Also, leaks for the new chapter came out. They're insane. I'm aware, but we're not talking about that today. Thank you for the super chat, though. I think Kizaru is more evil than Sakazuki because he at least has some principles he's following as opposed to Kizaru who has zero morals. Kizaru definitely has morals. He has morals. He's struggling with those morals. I think he's really, I mean, the last chapter is a perfect example of that. If Kizaru had zero morals, he wouldn't have cried in the last chapter. He wouldn't have been upset about what he did. He would have just answered the phone and given a full report to Sakazuki and been like, Vegapunk is eliminated. And then that would have been it. You know, Kizaru clearly shows regret and remorse about doing what he did in the act of duty. And he'll be quite relieved once he finds out that Vegapunk's not dead yet. So, yeah, he definitely has morals. Sakazuki, a lot more hard in terms of his personality. I think he also does. He has morals, too. I mean, like if, let's say Hibari is Akainu's daughter. If Hibari died, then obviously Sakazuki would be upset over that. You know, it's just that they're very hardened over being Marines for so long, and also admirals in the Marines. Do you think Luffy will get his fruit stolen by Blackbeard? No, I don't think they're going to do that. Oda's been pretty good about the, like, stealing abilities, you know, like, I'm going to steal your Devil Fruit power, you know, he's been really good about that. There's abilities that can turn off Devil Fruit abilities, but stealing the ability whole cloth is not really something we've seen. Like, you have to literally kill the user and eat the fruit. It's not like you can steal their power and them still being alive, you know, kind of thing. Unless we kind of see that with Vegapunk's Green Blood, kind of, but it's not really the same thing. It's not like the fruit was taken from Senor Pink, like he doesn't have it anymore. He still has the Swim fruit. It's just Vegapunk figured out a way to copy it, right? So, yeah. I like the idea that Luffy's Devil Fruit ultimate power is to liberate others, like giving the crew access to some of Nika's power. What do you think? I could see by the end of the story them doing like a thing where all of the Straw Hats have a brief flare-up of Nika's abilities, like Sanji's hair turns white and he's like, you know, like white fire. Zoro's swords are covered in like the clouds of the Sun God fruit. Nami and Robin get hotter. You know, I could see this. I could see this in the story for sure. There's something similar that happens in Black Clover that I really liked, and I like that trope. That's not too bad of a trope. I kind of like it. Yeah, if it's like just like for one attack sort of thing, go ahead. Yeah. And the last one we have here is, can you rank the Strats based on who would win in a hacky sack race? I love your content. You really seem to love what you do, and I love that. I feel like Brook would do really well. Brook and Usopp would probably do really well with that. Sanji, too. Sanji would probably win because he has the most dexterity with using the hacky sack with, like, his legs and stuff like that. So I'd go Sanji, followed by Brook, followed by Usopp. I would go there. Yeah. Oh, my mouse froze for a second there. That was weird. Okay. Copy powers, yeah. Those are not morals, they're feelings. A moral, I would say a moral in the sense of, like, there are people that I cherish. I have a moral to, like, I love those people. And he had a moral, he had a sense of duty. That's another thing, too, you could say. And now he's conflicted with all that. What is the most disgusting idea for a fruit you wish was in the story? Like any fruit that, like, allows you to turn into, like sewer gas or some shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, the smell of, like, sewage is, like, you know, like, you ever have a situation where things are, like, backed up in your toilet or your shower and it just reeks? It's, like, that's awful, you know, like, having any ability that could do that. Yeah, I feel like if Kizaru had zero morals, he would be depicted as way more robotic, which I'll give it to you, up until Egghead, he kind of was portrayed like that. But now with Egghead, we've seen more of his personality. Yeah, people can have shit morals. That's definitely true. I think what happened with Kizaru is he was part of the Marines, so he's like, all right, they ordered me to go kill Vegapunk for the greater good of the world. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. He did it, and then he's like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have fought back against the system, and I think he's realizing that right now. Please talk about clouds. They're very fluffy. They're very poofy. Thor is Eneru. Now, Thor is going to be a separate character, but Eneru would be great to show up, though. Hope that Thor is a separate character. How did they capture York? Does it bother anyone else that Oda skipped that section? York herself mentioned she's not that great at fighting. So the fact that the Strats were able to eventually grab her and chain her up to a radiator, that's not really... That makes sense to me. She has a gun. She's big, but, like, Zoro could have taken that easily, you know? Zoro could have, like, sliced the gun in half before she even had time to, like, you know, load the thing, you know, or raise it up or pull the trigger. Like, while she's in the process of pulling the trigger of the gun, Zoro would have cut it into 16 different pieces. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. So they sent Kizaru to kill Vegapunk because Kizaru knows the most about Egghead because he helped build it, and he was the one kind of always in charge of Vegapunk in the past. So it makes sense why they would send Kizaru because he's the one that's most aware of what Egghead is and the layout of the place and where Vegapunk would be likely to be and everything like that. But it is a little bit of a conflict of interest, yeah. There might have just been no one else they could send, though. Like, Fujitora might be busy with another mission. Aramaki was dealing with Weevil. Sakazuki's the fleet admiral. He can't go out on missions like he normally used to. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about good. I think we're going to end it there. We had a lot of questions, obviously. So many questions. Obviously couldn't answer every single one of them. I'm reminded of when I watch Alt-Shift-X's Game of Thrones and House of Dragon streams, where he'll do like a 4-hour stream, and he'll just get so many questions, and you can't get all of them, and it's like, it's a lot, and it's just like, yeah. So thank you to everybody for showing up, and thanks to everybody for the super chats and for your questions. We can definitely do this again. I don't know how often I'll do this, but there's no end to One Piece questions. That's certainly true. That's always a thing. So there will always be questions for One Piece, and I feel like this is one thing that I know will... If there's one series I'm an expert on that I actually feel like I'm qualified to answer questions about, it would probably be One Piece. So we'll pick that up. Yes, bye. See you on Twitch. Yes, so it is 12:44 p.m. where I'm at right now. At around 3 p.m., maybe a little earlier than that, maybe about 2 hours from now, maybe 2:45, 2 hours from right this moment, I'll be over on Twitch. Teching 101 over on Twitch, just Google it. And we'll be doing a Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream with Briggs, and he'll be also streaming on his Twitch channel. So cut back here then, and, or over on Twitch, and I'll be over there. No, we hate Twitch. Yeah, well, it's good for Yu-Gi-Oh! Streams and D&Ds, apparently. But yeah, I'll be over there then. So thanks for watching, everybody. One Piece will be out this week, Thursday or Friday. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, thanks to everybody for joining the stream, and have a lovely rest of your day if I don't see you. Signing out. Later. Bye.